Oh, good morning, everybody. Well, it's morning to me. It may not be to you, but today's video is I'm excited about today because today I am I'm putting it out there for others to see in terms of accountability for something that I'm entering into. It's sort of like a new phase in my life that I think I've been prepared for up till today. But it has to do with fasting, water fasting. Of course, that means zero food, just water, possibly a little bit of coffee in the morning, which technically doesn't break a fast. But entering into really getting serious about cleaning out myself. Firstly, just physically, it's a physical cleanup and clean out. There's some incredible things that happen to the physical body when a person fasts. All of nature understands. Animals are smarter than we are in this regard because they know to do this instinctually. When something's wrong in their system, they know to go lay down by a nice little creek somewhere and just stop eating, and they let the body repair, because God made our bodies to do that very thing. The human body gets into something called autophagy. Autophagy is a literal cleanup system, or a body cleanup where, in layman's terms, you start senescent cells, which are like half cells that are right on the borderline, mainly useless or about to die, get cleaned up and evacuated out of the body. New cells are come on strong in their place in replacement, and the body just does a complete cleanup from top to bottom when you get into fasting. Especially, it takes some time, but at 24, 48 hours, 72 hours in, the body's really gotten into this full boat healing process. And fasting, I've had a relationship with for many years. I've always believed in it. I've known, obviously I believe in it. The Bible promotes it. Every major world religion that's been around for any amount of time promote it. Oops, there's a spider web. And so it's a big deal. I mean, the ancients have said this, and it's a terribly important thing that us in the modern day, we're just too addicted to everything to give it a go and to do it properly. Every time somebody at church talks about fasting, they say, yeah, fast the newspaper, or fast, TV, and it's like, where do you find that in the Bible? I mean, it's just pitiful how dumbed down we have we have everything, and then we wonder why we don't have any real strength or fortitude or anything. So I'm just as guilty. I'm about the weakest person I know. So but fasting for me goes way back because for a lot of reasons, but one book that I read, like, I had to have been 25 years ago. My granddad was an osteopath, an old school osteopath, and really believed in these principles. So he kind of raised my mom in this way. My mom was very much in tune with my granddad and learned a lot of this stuff. So I was raised this way in terms of what you eat, why you eat, how you eat. It's always been a part of my upbringing, and I've got that same heart of really intensely enjoying to learn and do. But Granddad had this book from a guy named Paul Bragg that I read like 25 years ago, I guess, I'm guessing, but a long time ago. And the book made no sense to me whatsoever at the time, because it talked about this guy, Paul Bragg, was sharing his experience, and he fasted, all the time. He kind of lived a fasted lifestyle, and these are the people that sell the apple cider vinegar, the Bragg's apple cider vinegar that everybody promotes. It's like the best. It's that guy, and but he would talk about fasting, you know, like 7-day water fast, and like on the 7th day doing a 12-mile hike or something, and saying I felt like I had all the energy in the world and I could, you know, and to me that just didn't compute at all. I was like, that doesn't make sense. When I thought about fasting, I thought about, well, you're going to just suffer, you know, it's going to be pain and misery, and you just suffer, and in the middle of that somehow you connect with God, and so it makes it worth it. But my whole mentality was about the opposite of having energy and the opposite of being able to function physically at a high level. And he wrote about something I just didn't know, but I've come a long way since then, and now I understand. 2-3 years ago, I started on the ketogenic diet, which is about cutting out all sugar and carbs and getting into what's called ketosis. The body has to go through a transformation of burning sugar for fuel, or sucrose, or any of the sugars, into fat burning. And so it's a literal, your body has to go through a transformation of learning how to burn fat for fuel, but you have to not give it any sugar for it to do that, which is not easy, because we are addicted, heavily addicted to sugar in this nation. On purpose, I might add. Our bodies want it and crave it and need it, but our marketing, the food people who market and who make billions of dollars, engineer their foods to addict us to them. And they've done a fantastic job with that, because some people would rather, seriously, they'd rather get Alzheimer's or any of these deadly diseases than not have sugar. That's how addicted many people are. They just simply cannot fathom living a life without it, which is just mind-boggling. But that's how weak we are these days. However, if you can cut it off, if you can discipline yourself, cut it off, dream about a greater life, a better life, better feelings than you've ever had, because you have to dream about it if you've never had it, and then trust, and then walk it out. But if you can get through that phase and get your body into fat burning mode, it has to build the mechanism to fat burn, in other words. Then your body switches into fat burning mode, and it lives off of ketones, which I'm not going to get into what ketones are exactly, but it's a fuel source that the liver produces. And so you can start living off of ketones, which are a much, much better way to live. All the inflammation leaves your body, because we eat these highly inflammatory foods in our world. Bloating and gas and inflammation and pain, joint pain, foggy mind, and all these things. We just think they're normal as Americans. They're not normal. God did not create us to have that low of a life. It's simply what we eat and how we live. And so I did that, and I felt the effects. It was amazing. I had an incredible, kind of a little of a affair with that on and off over the last 3 years. But the older I get, the more I realize this is something I've got to do all the time. And then I got that book back out and started reading it. And then now I understand how he could do that, because what fasting does, if you just straight up fast, and I'd like to say this as well, you don't want to jump into it, because there are some things you need to be careful with, because we are so unhealthy and we are so addicted, and you don't want to yank your system around, because you need to kind of baby step yourself into these things and make sure your system is properly prepared to do it, because water fasting is a serious thing. You're talking about not only physical but emotional issues. We have emotional stuff, junk in our bodies that are just there because we just leave them buffered there. We don't deal with them, we don't face them. And water fasting brings all that stuff to the surface in a flash, and so it can be very devastating if you were to yank yourself into that mode. However, if you could make it through, you'd be much better off. But my point in this video is saying that there's a smart way to prepare yourself and work yourself into beginning to do fasts that are a day, 2 days, 3 days, 7 days, 10 days long. I'm even working through doing a 40-day fast as I kind of work my way into it. But this is really a call. I feel like this is a point in human history, and it's a point in my life that it's time to cross over. And this is a big issue for me, actually getting a single eye and really bringing my entire being, body, soul, and spirit underneath the hand of God in obedience. And I'm talking about this is a personal thing. I'm not trying to force this legalistically on every human, but I would suggest you begin to think about some of these things and enter into practicing more and more and more of these, because you got to have a sensitivity to the Spirit of God. And the Bible talks about our bellies are in the way. Literally, it uses that word belly, and in the Greek, the belly means more than just your stomach, but it's certainly a part. The stomach is huge because you're getting into core primal desires. You know, food and sex and fear. Those are your 3 core human desires that are primal, and they're deep in the brain. And you know, those things keep us alive. If you procreating is what obviously we continue the human race with. So sexual desire is a huge primal desire. Food is the biggest. You got to eat, you know, to stay alive. Although as an American, you can eat way less than what we promote as a culture and do way better. That's what we're finding out. And so, and then fight or flight, you know, fear. When something's going to kill you, you better be ready to run for your life. So those are 3 primal, powerful desires that every human has, and you got to get those things under your foot, under your control, totally. And I'm just at the point where I've worked myself into a position where I can do that. And so today I'm beginning. Now I have been practicing 1 meal a day, so I've prepared myself for this. I can get into ketosis relatively quickly. I've practiced over the last several weeks fasting about 20 hours a day, maybe even a little bit more on days. So in other words, I would finish eating at like 8 o'clock at night, and then I would fast through the night, obviously, all the way through the next day, and eat again at like 6 o'clock. So see, that would be a 22-hour fast, and then I would eat 1 meal, which I do fine with that. Now, I've worked myself into that over time to where that's a comfortable thing for me, and I actually function really well that way. My brain is clear. I don't have inflammation. I feel good. I'll work out pretty hard. You know, at some point in the day, I fasted. You know, it's called fasted cardio, or just if you're lifting weights, it's not cardio, but you're in a fasted state. I do fine with it. I feel great, no problems. So now I'm ready to kick it into a 24-hour. Actually, I'm going to begin a 14-day protocol. So today is Sunday, and what I'm going to do today is eat very lightly. I'm not going to eat it all day. I'll probably eat a little something at 8 o'clock tonight, possibly. And then Monday, I'll be starting my 14-day fasting protocol, which involves 3 immediate days of so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, no food at all. And then I enter into some 1 meal a day, a very strict eating window, and then go back into a 4 or more day without food. So I'll be running off the ketones, which means I'll be running. Once you get into ketosis pretty heavy, you get into this zone of no inflammation, clear thinking. You don't want food. You don't have the hunger pains. And it's literally almost drug-like. It feels that good. And so I'm just ready to kind of turn it up a notch. My big deal and my problem is at night. More than anything, it's an emotional thing. I want the comfort of eating. even if I'm not overly hungry, I really want to eat. It's like so ingrained. And so I'm putting out this video to explain where I'm at, also to encourage all of you to think about beginning to work your way into this. And maybe at some point I'm going to do more and more teaching about it, because I've learned quite a bit about it, and I do believe it's a part of the ministry God's called me to get a people ready for a move of God that is unprecedented in world history. That's what I believe is going to happen, and I want to have myself, spirit, soul, and body, prepared. And then I also want to be a part of, because I feel it's a calling of mine, to get people ready, spirit, soul, and body. And so, and that's what Modern Monk Metal is. That's my sort of my call sign. It's sort of a term God gave me years ago for a ministry that I feel called to, that has to do with the body, the earth suit, the soul, which is your mind, will, and emotions, and your spirit, which is wisdom, communion, and conscious. And so it's total ministry. Whereas, you know, you go to church, all you get is a little bit of spirit and soul. That's about all. You know, you don't go into the body aspects, which I'm very interested in. I'm even nearly more interested in things to do with the body, diet and exercise and so forth, and stewarding the temple that the Lord is supposed to be running it. It's His temple, and how we treat the temple is critical. It's something you can't bypass, and we don't even talk about it in church. That's like a no-go zone, you know, that we just don't, and I don't like that. I want to talk to people about it. I want to do it. I want to be a practitioner, and I want to be among a people that are doing that we talk about everything. Now, I'm not talking about legalism. I'm not trying to get into you better do this or you don't know the Lord. I'm not talking about that at all. I'm just saying that we have some massive shortcomings in the body of Christ today, and these are some of those reasons why. We're just pitiful. And I'm one of those. I'm not calling everybody else pitiful. I'm saying I'm pitiful, and I don't want to be pitiful. I want to walk in a new way. I want to exercise and live in a higher way. I want to believe that the Spirit of God in me, living in me, and me in alignment with Him is greater than a cheeseburger or a pizza. And I just want to live at the highest level that's possible. And I think that humans are capable of living on a level that is way greater than what our culture is promoting today. And I just feel there's a call in Christianity, that God's calling His sons and daughters up into something greater. And to be fit, again, not in legalism, and fit is I'm not trying to talk about you need to be on some cover of a magazine, because our culture likes to, you know, say fit means X, Y, and Z. And no, I'm not going there at all. I'm talking about fit for you. And everybody's a little bit different in that. And how you look has nothing to do with it. It's not image-based. It's inner heart-based. And you need to be following the promptings of God's Spirit in the temple that He bought and paid for and desires to live in. And that's you. That's your life. That's your spirit, soul, and body. And so anyway, today I'm doing this video as an accountability piece. This is August the 30th, Sunday, August the 30th, 2020. I'll be reporting back, because I'm making a commitment to myself. Even if I screw up and I don't get it done, I want to fess up to that and just talk through the struggle of it all. Hopefully these won't be terribly long, but at least just touching base and saying, here's what happened, here's what's going on, here's how I feel. So tomorrow I'll make another video. My plan again is to have a small meal today at about 8 o'clock, because that's after church. And then Monday, man, it's a full day, no meal. It's a nomad, no meals in the day, and then all the way through Wednesday night. So Thursday would be the first time I might have some bone broth and a you know, a nice salad with some olive oil or something like that. But so here we go. Going to be accountable to you guys. I know a lot of people don't see these, at least initially, but enough of you will see it to kind of lock me in and at least I'm locked into my own voice, and I'm going to be accountable. So it's going to be fun. I'll keep you guys posted. Hopefully this will encourage many of you to do something similar. So have a great day. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.